I have rarely been interested in small action cameras, but recently I have been wanting something that's smaller, easier to put in tighter spots, get more creative angles, so I bought into the DJI craze. However, I wasn't sure if I should get the Pocket 3 or the Action 5. So obviously I did end up going with the Action 5, so here are 5 uses for this camera. One of the main reasons I wanted to get this camera is for transition shots. Using and rigging a smaller action camera like the Action 5 is way easier than trying to rig up my FX30. I am sacrificing a little bit of quality, but honestly not that much. Action cam footage has really improved lately. I can shoot 4K 120 in 10-bit with DJI's D-Log, which makes it a little bit easier in post to color grade and try and match to my Sony footage. Being able to set up shots quicker and easier will allow me to get more creative angles without having to slow down too much, and because the Action 5 is so small and compact, I can just toss it in my book bag or even in my pocket. Now the second use I have for this camera is what it's actually intended for: action shots. But not just your typical action shots. Like I mentioned, I want to get more creative, get POV angles of me using my cameras or maybe playing pickleball. And again, because this camera is so small, I can put it in all types of unique angles, and if it does end up falling, this should be a pretty rigged camera, so I shouldn't have to worry about it too much, especially because I do have a cage on it. This camera has some pretty insane stabilization modes, and it also has a horizon lock, so you can completely turn the camera and the horizon will stay still. It's pretty crazy. Action shots are one of the reasons I didn't pick the Pocket 3. Although a lot of people do use it for action shots and rig it up in all crazy scenarios, at the end of the day, it is still a mini gimbal. It's not going to be as tough as the Action 5. The Action 5 should be pretty durable. I can drop it, rig it up in crazy situations, and I'm not going to be as worried about it as if I had the Pocket 3. There's a few cool mounting options and accessories that I want to get for this camera that should make this a staple in my content creating process, so you definitely should see a lot more of this camera in all my future videos. There are 2 reasons why getting vlog style shots on this camera will be perfect. The first one is it has a front screen so you can actually frame up the shot, which makes it just a little bit easier and better than using your iPhone. The second reason being that you can connect the DJI mics to this camera, which just makes it a really easy and compact way to get really good audio so that you can vlog on this camera. Keeping this camera in my pocket and pulling it out for quick clips will be so much more convenient than getting out my big camera, and again, you are sacrificing a little bit of quality, but as long as you manually dial in all your settings and you know where and when you can't use this camera, then I think you should be good. I will say the Pocket 3 would probably make a better vlogging camera with it having the gimbal, and you can actually get a little bit of shallow depth of field on there, unlike the Action 5 that always just has everything in focus. But again, my thinking was the Action 5 would just be a little bit more versatile and a little bit more durable. So sticking to the theme of quick and easy filler shots, another use for this camera are hyperlapses. I rarely take hyperlapse videos because you have to set up tripods, you have to dial in your settings, you have to leave it alone so you can get some good results, and it just really defeats the purpose of quick and easy. But with this being my second camera option, I can rig it up, let it do its thing, get the hyperlapse, and I can go film on my main camera or do something else, whereas if I were doing the hyperlapse on my main camera, I would probably stay by it because I'd be afraid that it would tip over or just get damaged. Not a crazy feature, but it could come in handy and it's better than not having it. This camera can shoot up to 40 megapixel photos, it shoots JPEGs and RAWs, and it's a lot smaller than my X-T50. Of course, the Action 5 is not going to have all the focal lengths and lens options that my X-T50 has, and it's not going to be as high quality photos as my X-T50, but again, I wouldn't expect it, it's an action camera. Now, if you're buying an action camera, you're probably not going to compare the photos it can take to a real camera or even an iPhone, but it is nice to know that you have an option of taking photos, and pretty good high quality photos as well. Most people will use their phone for quick, convenient photos, but who knows, maybe you'll end up in some situation where you need a smaller camera body, and this would be a perfect camera for that. I mentioned this before, but I guess it's better to have it than if they just had left it out. I'm curious if there's a specific reason why they put photo capabilities in this camera, or if it's just because it would be weird if it couldn't take photos. So all that being said, that's why I went with the Action 5. It's small, it's convenient, it's versatile, and more importantly, it's rigged. So as I get a few more mounting options and accessories like the mic minis, I'm going to continue making more videos with this action camera, so definitely stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.